Good morning. A second here. Uh, all right, so we got a recovery going on for the moment. Um, Tech got hit pretty damn good yesterday and came down to the major support level, right? That pivot low. It's pretty far away, but buyers stepped up there. One was down there. Actually, you can see it was like 4 o'clock in the morning. And as you know, the report came out around 8:30. And prices continued to move up. And it looks like these will come up into yesterday's. I think to come into yesterday's low, possibly close, and then we'll see where it goes from there. There isn't a lot of resistance since it was a big down bar. We're looking at the futures here. So, hey, the trend is down. Hit the next support level. It's bouncing up from there. So technical bounce. Whatever's going on in the news, I don't think this is over. Interest rates, we'll take a look at. They backed off a little bit on the news. Trend is still up there. Trend is still down there. And, after yesterday's down bar, this isn't how downward moves end. There was this consolidation for a couple of days. It couldn't get up to even the 20, let alone in between the 20 and the 50 to roll over. So clearly sellers are aggressive, looking to get out, and a little technical bounce off of that major support there. Let's see what it looks like on the NDX. And let's drag that up. Oh, this doesn't move. So we're going to look at the Qs, of course, but that's must have been where it came down to. And it's pushing up. Trend is down. It couldn't get up in there. There's plenty of room more to drop before it gets to the 200 MA. And, this is what you want to look at. I mean, the Qs will work, but you want to look at an index that the world is looking at as far as a moving average, because while they're subjective as a reference point of support or resistance, when you've got so many looking at it, when so many are looking at it, it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. So, Alex, I don't believe that the case. People, what's going on right now, what they're talking, the recession, in my opinion, and we'll see what happens in the future. The recession is going to come, whatever these numbers are, and as the market is going lower, as this says, I don't mean by someday, I mean whether it's this year, we only got a couple of months, or it comes next year. When it's confirmed, the way the markets typically work, the bad news that is coming, the market's going to go up, because it's all going to be looking in the rearview mirror, as it said. Because as things get down to support and they begin to bottom and they turn up, no one's going to care about the bad news, because it's all coming to roost right now. So right now the trends are down, and unless we see some kind of wide range bar reversal, meaning what would change my opinion as far as the beginnings of a bottom? Well, if today rallied like, almost near the top of this red bar, where you had the negation of a big red bar in that way, then you begin to change your bias as to what's going on right now. If the day ends and it's not even halfway into this red bar, I mean, it stops in the gap. Well, when this opens up, because it's not gapping, but the Qs are stopping in the gap, let's go and look at that and see where they're at right now. They're not even into the gap fill yet. There's whippy action going on there. If they get up to say 350, and they roll over, or they just go sideways all day. Just imagine this on a line chart of the close. There's like big freaking deal what the number was today. What did it do? What did buyers and sellers do to reverse this bearish move right now? Absolutely nothing. When it was lower pre-market, it opened here. And unless it can get deep into this bar, the bias is it's going to go lower. So, I mean, that's the factory work. Everybody's got opinions about what they think's going to happen and all of that. So, prices come down into the area of that pivot low on the daily chart, that support point. Right? As we always look to the left, there's a 200 MA down there on the daily chart. I don't know if that's ultimately the destination or, goes down below it to the next pivot low. We'll all find that out as we go forward. But as far as changing a bias as to the bearishness of what's going on now, we need to see, a gap down that opens down, right, at the open, not retrace back up on some news. And then it comes all the way back up to make, a big green bar, or this can rally deep into here and we have the beginnings of a turn. And that's historically the way it is. And until that happens, this is just another technical bounce from the support from the support level over there to the left. And let's see where it goes today. I mean, that's, looking at things from an objective point of view is what guides us as to, hey, whatever I think is going to happen, maybe it's wishful thinking, but having a method that is systematic and guides us to what our thought process should be, it keeps us out of trouble. It keeps us on the right side of stuff. So, all right. So, no big deal right now as far as the daily chart. What is changing? This is just bad ticks because things got crazy. The transports, they may be at, where we begin to see that, hey, we're close, because they led the way down. They're at this major support point, and this is what we want to keep an eye on in the coming days as this is coming down to this big congestion area down here. And it's dropping vertically. That's a good thing. It happens near the end of a move. We got all these pivot lows down here. So we're seeing what this does in the coming days. That's the way things typically end in an area of support, and they get climactic. So, and I'll just look at the ETF. There's more stocks in here than what is in the cash. You can see it's down here, near the same area. So we'll see. A lot of times we talked about greater than 100% retracements. I wouldn't be surprised to see it go through here before it reverses. That's many times what it does. It just flushes out those areas and everybody gets bearish based on breaking support, and then things begin to turn around. Dow diamonds, they bounced up as well. Did they come down to that pivot? Yeah, they come down around that pivot, same spot. You can see this big topping pattern there. And we'll be keeping an eye to see if that breaks. We've got the continuation. Held up a bit better. I guess with Microsoft earnings and Microsoft gapping up. So maybe that's why it's holding up a little better. Last week's big nasty red bar, done absolutely nothing to negate that. Let's look at TBT. It's down a little bit, coming down. It was heading up, and the trend is still up, and almost negating this red bar. Now it's in the middle of yesterday's range, so that no big deal there either. 10-year kind of sideways, so pretty much a lot of nothing going on here other than hoo-ha-ha on the news, and markets coming off of the low based off, or continuing to come off of the low once it reached that support. And spiders, yesterday, let's get this out of the way, broke through that support, wide range bar down. Where did it come down to overnight? It was getting close to this next support level. And so rallying up, not quite into filling the gap yet, but coming up into resistance. You see my cursor on the hourly chart, almost into that resistance area. So by the time it opens, maybe things open up unchanged or close to it. I guess it would. The futures are almost slightly positive. But until things retrace into this red bar, a deep retracement, because clearly yesterday was negative with Google going down, Meta is now down, was down overnight. Coin, some ugliness going on there. So still looking for things to continue in the direction that they are until that changes. Now, you can see the Russell, let's just look at the ETF. That's what we call it. That's at its destination. Maybe it goes down a little bit more or breaks it, but this is key to see, are we close to a bottom? Is it going to go much lower? Does something start to show relative strength? So going into next week, what we want to see is, do the transports and the Russell begin to stabilize here? And things like airlines that have been decimated, do these start to show a little relative strength? So what was the weakest beginning to stabilize, and what was the strongest, like Meta, maybe that continues to go down, and eventually things reach a point of, the major indices reaching some destination point, and we'll see how all of that shapes up. Bitcoin finally taking a little bit of a rest. What a monster move. It cleared this resistance. There'll be buyers on pullbacks. XLP. Look at XLP. Consumer staples. So again, this is another example of leading the way down. Institutions want no part of what's considered defensive. Healthcare has been getting killed. Medical devices absolutely destroyed. So we'll see if these, it's stabilizing. So it's gotten a bit climactic, as you can see. So it's stabilizing. Major support is way up here. Now, this could be nothing more than a bear flag. And this is what a bear flag looks like, meaning you get a momentum move. Now, granted, it's been going down for a while, but you get a momentum move that's considered the flagpole, and then it makes a couple of pivot high, pivot lows, wherever it's going to reach, and then it breaks lower again. So we'll see what happens there. What else can we take a peek at? I don't think we looked at SPX. That was a moving. I had to adjust SPX as far as the strikes once, but so again, this is based on what we looked at. It's going to be about unchanged at the open. 4110. They zeroed them out now. It was 4105, so 4110. Things are unchanged. I don't think either of these strikes are going to get touched today. Neither strike got touched yesterday. Clearly, that is beyond the average range, which has been around, it's about 60 points right now. It's even beyond that. And it's on a major support point. So even if you take some heat on this, if it does roll over after closing the gap, by the end of the day, I believe it'll be fine. And just based on the conversation already, I don't think it's going to take out the high of yesterday's bar. What else? I think that's about it. We looked at transports, we looked at interest rates. Let's look at the Dow Industrials cash, holding up better than others. I think that's basically on Microsoft, but still the big weekly bar there. All yours, Dan.
Good morning. Yeah, I was hoping today, and maybe even through tomorrow, would be the flush out to the downside that we were looking for. So
Might happen yet.
yeah, I mean, this scenario I think would have higher odds if we weren't bouncing so much right now, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's just going to delay it. Let's see. But yeah, we had a nasty gap pre-market and lost my pre-market here. And yeah, that's a big retracement.
Meta didn't retrace.
Yeah. Yeah, we have a put spread. I'm sorry, we have a short strangle. We're short what strikes do we have? Short the 352.5 calls and the 250 puts. So we're gonna have a huge open gain at the open. I just put a bid out there at 10 cents, and just by guessing, but we sold it for $1.50, so that's going to be a huge winner. But we did the same strategy on Allergen, which was going against us. That's a nasty gap. Way down here. But I'd be looking at this as a new trade. So we just got to sit through it. Well, be careful, Raj. And I'm glad I told you to stay away from that yesterday. But I told you I would not have entered this had I known. We entered too early. We talked about them. But when I reviewed like 100 or so earnings trades yesterday, and I think I said in the green room, well, you know what? And in all seriousness, though, Alex, yeah, we do that for fun, but whenever I enter a trade, I take ownership of it. I don't blame people unless we're doing it out of jest. Because if I didn't like it, I could have totally killed it yesterday for whatever 10-15 cent loss. So no, I'm not going to blame Sam. All right, what was I going to say? Oh, when I went through all these, like 90% of them, I kept saying in the green room, looks lower, looks lower, looks lower, looks lower. So there's a lot of nasty trades out there. I mean, setups. So I went through these and I pruned them because the list was too big. So if you see an earnings trade that you like, or any other trade, tell me. So Nilly, gap up from a Climo, so 30-minute high. That's a day trade long idea. IBM, I just had an alarm at 140, just went off. So that's a big gap, put spread idea. All right, actually, let me write these down, but then I'll come back to them. Well, I'll look at yours, actually, because I'm just doing earnings trades. Yeah, car, set an alarm, absolutely. Descending triangle, sure. But look, I mean, today for some reason, my print here in next change is not matching the chart. I've been seeing this all morning, so I don't see any prints here, but it shows it down $2. But if it opens flat, actually, then sure, short yesterday's low. Wendy's, I don't like that pattern. PDM, yeah, yesterday's low. I don't like shorting stocks under $8 myself. FTNT, sure, set an alarm. So here's another one. I'm seeing a print at 55.60, but this my minder here is showing 56.32. Strange. So we'll just have to wait for the open, I guess. All right, back to earnings. Alpha Romeo. Gapping down, no pattern. Mattel, that's a big gap down. 1750. You know, I put that in the excessive gap category, meaning if it can take out a 30-minute high, maybe put spread idea. Thomas, MKC, yeah, there's a double bottom retest. It's up 3 bars though, but that's a powerful 15-minute chart. Oh, look at the bottom right here, Papa India, nice gap breakout. That's a beautiful put spread idea. And I said now at earnings at OW, gapping over these 2 bars. So that's a beautiful bottom now. You know, as Greg reminded me, we have, you know, options are very spready on this thing, but that's a beautiful pattern for a put spread. This is a recent IPO, obviously, gapping down here to pretty near all-time lows. Let's see if that can take out a 30-minute high. Teradyne, wow, I'm shocked there's not more volume on this. But that's a power move down with no potent reversal. This poor thing's on a death trend, no reversal. NXT. Oh, I personally sold naked $30 puts on this thing. I don't know if any of you in the green room followed me, but I'm bidding a dime to get out because they're monthlies. If they were weeklies, meaning tomorrow, then I would let it. I wouldn't touch it. I'd let it go out at full profit. Flowers, you know, no volume. We'll come back to you. There's our now. There's Algin going against us. RJF, I don't see any prints. WCN shows a print down here, but it's illiquid. We'll come back to you. No pattern. There's Papa India. This tomorrow. Yeah, we did a short strangle. I have an alarm at 895. Yeah, but Alex, my answer was more accurate than yours. You know why? Because which freaking Friday are you talking about? So tomorrow it expires, and I'm bidding a dime to get out of mine. This is a Climo with a possible retest. So like I said, I have an alarm at 885. Olsen, a couple prints down here. It's bearish, daily, weekly, monthly.
Yeah, and sorry for interrupting, but you guys sold those yesterday?
Yeah, I gave it to you on Telegram.
Yeah, I know. I don't remember, but someone you should consider giving them now. I mean, when they gap down, those premiums should really be much higher than, unless the vol crush is killing them.
Absolutely. No, I get with 99.9% certainty. We have a monster open game at the open. So no, you're not going to get, well, we'll look, of course, but no, you cannot do better than our $1.50 premium that we got yesterday. That's a mathematical certainty. But as a new trade, we would obviously be looking at a different strike.
Mm-hmm.
All right, URI gapping down. You know, ideally, let's see, it's gapping at 385. Nah, that has room to fall. So no interest in that. On my NXT up alarm. So yeah, I should get filled at a dime, no problem. Let me set a new alarm. I sold them for 80 cents, so I'm happy to get out of the dime. Making 7/8 of max gain. This is one I think I said yesterday, if it opens flat, short the low. That's a bearish continuation pattern. Yeah, correct, Alex. Yep. This one, wow, look at that gap. $5 gap on an $18 stock. Can you say ouch? I'll put that. What is Maxwell? Is that one of these solar stocks? Max Linear. No, it's a semiconductor. Oh, EXAS. Aichi, this was yours from yesterday. I said, yes, you can short the low of this, but I think it has earnings on the first. But keep that in mind. It looks good. The White House. I see one print. We'll come back. This one gapped up on a buyout offer the other day. Mo, I have an alarm at 340. If it can get over this base, could be a nice day trade and one DTE. Yeah, I'm going through all earnings right now. BMY, gap to a monster support on monthly. So Alex, gapping to a monthly support as a swing trade with a bearish gap under this is like totally irrelevant to me. I mean, monthly, I just don't care about. I care about the daily, weekly, and that's a nasty gap breakdown. So my answer is I have no idea. I have no bias right now. I need to, you know, watch it and see what happens. But it's just not my style to buy saying, oh, it's on support, even with the daily, weekly looking like shit like that. Not my master traders, you know, approach. EQIX, I don't see any prints. This little guy, see, I show it up $10, but no volume. We'll come back. SUI looks lower. I'd like it better if it didn't have this green bar, but all the subsequent 8 bars is negating the potency of that. That looks lower. SUI. Golf Lima, I'm going to delete you. No, it's a sloppy buy setup. Orly, another, oh, this one's up 905. It's a big gap, but nothing to do. I just had AMT alarm go off. So this one's a potential, this one's a bottoming pattern. AMT, and it's earnings also. My alarm went off, so if somebody wants to watch this for us. Par, we're short from yesterday. I just had a low alarm. Very nice. Alex got us into that yesterday. All right, so I can say, so one of my earnings trades just got filled. Meta, so I'm out at a dime on Meta. So see, Craig, you see why I was so confident? We sold it for $1.50. Despite the gap down, I just got filled at 10 cents. And that was Dodge. I don't know if you're here. That turned out to be just a lucky 100% guess of where the premium would be. Because I got filled on that initial top right there. Oh, Hershey's low alarm. Oops. All right, Hershey, we still have a profit. So let's just close this thing. It's not acting right. All right, 1 second. Yeah, Hershey, I'm not liking the action, so I'm out. Par, let me set a new alarm. Hold on. $31. The IWM's flying right now on the 5 and 15. That's a bullish day trade bias right now. If somebody wants to look for IWM on 0 DTE, I'll do it. I would do the 163 pre-market low. It's one DTE. IWM's the one that doesn't have 0 DTEs. So no, it's way too early to be thinking about one DTE. All right, wow, that PI the gap's too big. Dude, I didn't get filled on my NXT and I guess I have a lower.